Sure.
Everything's good. Clearing cases, making arrests. Had a few complaints.
Hey, Judge, excuse me for just a moment. Could you ask them to step away from me right here because I'm having a hard time hearing y'all. Oh, never mind. They came. They're not there now. I'm sorry.
Number 7. Discuss your action on this one.
You got a problem?
27 unemployment rate. Unemployment fund rate.
No.
Yet, we have no one here looking, is what I'm saying. And I spoke, and I'll be straight up with you. I spoke to this Dion, whatever his name is, with NextEra this week. And I asked him about these setbacks on these windmills. And he assures me, this is what he says, that he's been in contact with all of you. I reported it, and so somebody can listen to it. He claims to me that it is their guideline that there is not a wind turbine that's less than 1,500 feet from a property line. Guys, that's a lie.
Yeah.
Ask Adam Strong right over here. He's got one less than 800 something from his house. So what we're saying is here, how can we join forces with you guys to help protect us? It's not breaking. Do we have anyone in this county that is protecting us to know? Does anyone know even what NextEra is doing?
My name's William Zimmerman. I'm going to save my time with the phone.
Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
So if y'all are involved in something, walk away. Just get out of here right now, because when the criminal charges and the complaints start coming, I will force the AG to prosecute like we already are in Hubbard. That's what this flash drive is. I've already filed a complaint on the mayor itself. I do not have a problem frying you. You are public officials. I am not afraid of you. Kill me, hurt me, jail me. Doesn't matter. I will go down. I got nothing to lose. That's all I do is accountability of corrupt government officials, mostly police officers. That's what I specialize in. But lately I've been going after, because it's just easy. You guys are flamboyant about what you guys do here. You know, look at what happened with the cancellation of this commissioner's court. I'm the one that killed this court because you guys were in violation of the open meetings conditions. And also, candidate for precinct 4, David Gelstrip, I've got all the police files from all the departments. That will be coming out right before early voting, including the wife that was terminated from Joshua as well. Thank you, sir.
BZWATCHDOG News Network.
Before we get into it, as always, smash that like button, drop a comment, share this everywhere, and subscribe so you don't miss out when Hill County's little backroom business club gets dragged into the sunlight. Because what we witnessed at the Hill County Commissioner's Court right before that Hillsboro EDC meeting at noon was something they clearly were not expecting. Citizens actually showing up, citizens paying attention, citizens asking questions, and citizens pushing back. And let me tell you, it was beautiful. For once, it wasn't just a room of officials rubber stamping agenda items, patting each other on the back, and pretending economic development means selling out rural Texas behind closed doors. No, this time the people showed up and said, hold up. What exactly are y'all doing with our land, our water, our electricity, our roads, and our future? You could feel the room shift. Citizens were calling out the data center mess, the water concerns, the lack of transparency, and the good old Hill County magic trick where these deals somehow appear halfway cooked before the public even gets a real seat at the table. One speaker flat out warned them to stop, wait, and listen before they turn rural communities into ghost towns because people cannot live without water and electricity. And then another citizen nailed it. These outside companies have no real ties to Hill County. They come in for cheap land, weak protections, and sweetheart treatment. Then when the damage is done, they disappear behind layers of corporate paperwork while the citizens are left holding the bag. But here's the best part. After all the public pressure, after all the questions, after all the citizens standing up, Hill County turns around and reads a whole resolution admitting data centers can strain the electric grid, consume massive amounts of water, impact roads, infrastructure, farmland, drainage, wildlife, and quality of life. Well, imagine that. Suddenly, the same concerns citizens have been screaming about are now official enough to put in a resolution. Funny how that works, isn't it? They claim counties do not have enough authority to regulate these giant industrial projects in unincorporated areas. But somehow there always seems to be enough authority to schedule meetings, entertain developers, push economic development, and keep the public chasing breadcrumbs. So today we're going to walk through what happened, why this matters, and why the people of Hill County, Hillsboro, Hubbard, and every rural community nearby needs to keep showing up. Because sunlight is the best disinfectant, and right now, Hill County needs a whole pressure washer full of it. I'm your boy BZ. Let's get into the video.
Hey, y'all doing? I'm Richard Traylor, and I want to say happy Confederate History Month for people. And I want to say thank you to all you guys who are working and women who are working to support Hill County. Thank you very much. That's all, especially him, my buddy. Y'all be good.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning. My name is Mary Costa. This is now the third time that I've spoken to you regarding data centers and so-called green energy projects. Please keep in mind that the people who own these entities, the data centers, the green energy, they have absolutely no ties to Hill County, zero. They're seeking to take advantage of a relatively inexpensive crop and pasture land. They're looking to exploit the lack of building codes, ordinances, and protections that folks in the city have. They care nothing for our children, our families, and our rural way of life. And once they have drained all that they can out of the land, they will be gone. And we will be forced with toxic fallout since they are sheltered through layers of corporate structure. The EDC summit, while meant to calm our fears, only reinforced that even officials at the state level know nothing of, or little of life in a rural county such as ours. One of the gentlemen actually said that if a fire should occur, it could easily be handled by a fire department. But what he doesn't realize is that we only have one paid fire department in the county. I don't know if any of you have had the experience of our 50-mile-an-hour winds and something causing a spark in a pasture and it coming towards your house, but it's not a good feeling. I'm not advocating for more fire departments. Our neighbors help us, we help each other. And we don't have the resources to do that should something occur. Our volunteer fire departments, they're good people, but they have real jobs where they have to have real jobs so they can get paid. And there are too many times when coverage is very thin. We must work with state and federal officials to make sure our families and our land is protected. We have great farmland. I've heard it said, well, farmers are making so much more, their crops are producing so much more. That may be true, but that's on a good year. We have drought years too. When foreign governments want to, or even our government wants to take advantage of the people, take away their food, and see how fast chaos, how dependent we are on government. Nobody wants that. Please protect our land. Please protect our farmers and our families. Thank you.
Well, good morning there, Commissioner's Court. How are we doing there, Judge?
Doing well.
You look well today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. State your name real quick. Hold on.
Basil and Gary, since everybody thinks I hide behind a screen name on Facebook, I'm actually out here in the open with my name said all the time, so I'll address that. I want to talk about corruption in Hill County because there's a lot of things that tie into it, like the data center. You guys are elected by these people. You represent these people. You took an oath to represent these people. So I don't know why the backdoor deals are happening back there. You should be listening to these people. I don't know anybody that's come here that said, hey, let's put a data center in. Everybody here is against it. We got one going in down there in Hubbard that I'm dealing with, and got files of evidence of all the illegal stuff that's happened. That's why I'm here to see David Holmes today, but he didn't show up for court because he's got something else going on. And all these people that are here don't want 2 data centers or 3 data centers that are now talking about coming into the city of Hillsboro. The city manager can't even get replacement of old water pipes right here in just this area downtown. So why should we even allow that to come in and take up more water, cause more water rates to go up for everybody that lives here in Hillsboro? I mean, I know this is county, but some of you guys probably do live in Hillsboro downtown or know somebody that does. I know you work here, so that affects you guys as well. Kill it, just kill it. Until she gets her stuff straight in the city, don't allow any of this stuff to come in. Hill College is tied deep into this. Some of you, I do have evidence on you guys that you guys are involved in some backdoor deals. I'm not gonna put that out now because I'm still looking into some solid stuff that's gonna come out. Speaking of corruption, I'm gonna move off the data centers because they've got enough to say about it. I wanna talk about the jail. You worked at the jail, you ran the jail, okay? Why am I now getting reports that his jailers, who are probably most likely trained by you or fell under his domain, are doctoring up the rec logs? I have an eyewitness that witnessed 2 to 3 jailers doing it. I've got proof of it, okay? I told you a month ago, have it inspected. I want rangers in there, which is useless because the rangers out of Waco are corrupt as well. But we do need an outside law enforcement agency to come and investigate that jail. If they don't investigate the 80% of the stuff that was marked NA, something's going on. I know about Hunter Barnes's nonprofit organization. I know about all the nonprofits and the businesses you guys own on the side where money is probably most likely being funneled. I'm looking into that right now. So if y'all are involved in something, walk away. Just get out of here right now, because when the criminal charges and the complaints start coming, I will force the AG to prosecute like we already are in Hubbard. That's what this flash drive is. I've already filed a complaint on the mayor itself. I do not have a problem frying you. You are public officials. I am not afraid of you. Kill me, hurt me, jail me, doesn't matter. I will go down. I got nothing to lose. I want you to know that right now. Every single one of you. If you are guilty and involved in something, I will fry you, just like you fried a citizen the other day without showing proper evidence in a district court up there, the district judge. I heard about that district court. It was probably the ADA. I don't know if that was him or not. But there's a lot of corruption going on, backdoor deals between judges, prosecutors. And I'm not gonna put those names out there. It may be you, it may not be you. But I'm not gonna indulge that right now at this court. How much more time do I got?
135.
Thank you. So I'm really pushing for each one of you. Go look at the jail. Go find out. I want the logs looked at. I seriously want the logs looked at. I want the conditions of the jail looked at. Just because someone sits out of that jail and was arrested does not mean they are guilty. They have to have their day in court, like every person. Due process. Okay, I've seen a lot of illegal civil rights violations on body cams from Hill County Sheriff's Department. They're this close to having an outside federal agency come in. You don't want that, because you're gonna be on oversight for probably the next 10 years. That's all I do, is accountability of corrupt government officials, mostly police officers. That's what I specialize in. But lately I've been going after, because it's just easy. You guys are flamboyant about what you guys do here. You know, look at what happened with the cancellation of this commissioner's court. I'm the one that killed this court because you guys were in violation of the Open Meetings Act. And now we have it here today. Just like I did at the EDC meeting last week. Half these people will probably already know about it or seen it. I will continue to kill these things using the law, because I don't break the law. So at this point, I would, if I have any time left and there's a statement of fact, if we can get a statement of fact, I'd like Sheriff Barnes to go ahead and address the doctored up rec logs and the jail conditions. And also, candidate for precinct 4, David Gelstrip, I've got all the police files from all the departments. That will be coming out right before early voting, including the wife that was terminated from Joshua as well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I've been in Washington. Lived in Fedora, Texas. Lived here for 42 years. Known most of y'all for all that time. I want to thank y'all for doing what y'all have done. Most people don't realize what it takes to get up here and do what y'all do. I didn't know y'all was that dumb corrupt. I said, doggone. Woo! I'm glad y'all ain't got in my pocket. But
You work for me for when, I can't say
I worked for you about 17 years, and I appreciate that chance to be able to work for you. Man, anytime I've ever called and asked any of y'all to do something to the road, y'all pretty much apply. Most people in this county do not realize how much money it takes to keep a road up. When you're paying nearly $500 per load of rock to go on the road, that's your fuel, your man irons, your rock, your insurance, everything per load. And when you have somebody drag half of it off of a road to put in their driveway 100 yards, that's there from the county. So when you talk about corrupt, look at the people that are taking rock off the roads as well. People can say what they want to. Thank God. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the 17 years that I've worked for the county. I appreciate the teaching. I appreciate the fact that the taxpayers pay the taxes. They want better roads. The only thing that y'all have a chance of doing is having to go up on taxes. And I know for a fact the judge is trying not to go up on taxes. But he's had to do so because we can't get our roads fixed the way they need to be fixed. You don't have much easement to make much ditches. So there's where we go with it. And people want to really get on to everybody about it, but that's just a fact. Thank God.
Good morning, everyone. How are you feeling today? That's awesome. I got to go by this. So I got a message. Oh, sorry. My name is Corey Miller. I've lived here for half a decade now. I'm an 8-year Army veteran. I got a message last night, I'm sure as most of these people did, that says the city of Hillsboro water notice due to multiple water line breaks downtown water tower has been shut off for repairs. All customers west of Chop Street have been affected, will be affected for approximately 5 hours. I get one of these messages at least once a month, but yet we're going to put in something that's going to take even more of our resources away from us, while we're paying for even higher bills. So we're getting less water, less reliably, for more money. 37 houses in Hillsboro are set to be sold. Most of them have been on the market for multiple months now. Even more of them have been held open for rent without any renters. We're losing individuals, and from a number of the ones that I've spoke to that are moving out, it's because of cost of the city, cost of living here. So we're going to make that more for whatever reason. That makes sense. I don't understand why we are worrying about data centers when none of them has made money in the AI market. The AI bubble is collapsing, as we know. Multiple investors, including large companies like Disney, is pulling out of AI. So why are we sacrificing our farmlands for AI and solar? Does anybody know? No.
I'd like to know.
I would like to know too. I would also like to vote for it instead of just y'all deciding. Yes. Because y'all can promise all you want, but promises from the government is like the smell of rain in a desert. So I want to vote. I want transparency, and if I get none of that, you will have double the amount of new outs of Hillsboro, if not triple. And I can also promise none of y'all will make it back into Hillsboro's government. We will vote you out, just like multiple counties who have tried to do this got voted out. You are for us people. We have heard that none of you want this data center.
Right.
So why are we putting it in if no one wants it? Let us know.
Anybody else, Bill?
As my time is limited, what I have to say today. I have a timeline of events and concerns that I would like to hand out if I may. You can all pass these out. I hope I have enough copies, but you have to share it. Here's an extra. Okay, so, okay, so hold on a second. Okay, here's a few more, if anybody needs them.
Before you start.
Oh, yes, okay. There you go. Okay, I'm Linda Polley. I'm here on behalf of the Hill County group. Today, the agenda has two items on tax abatement guidelines, items 21 and 22. Item 21 relates to rescinding the 6th amended and restated Hill County tax abatement guidelines. Item 22 relates to potential action on 7th amended and restated Hill County tax abated guidelines. On behalf of Hill County, I was immediately concerned with the original posting, as under the tax code chapter 312, guidelines are mandated. They only last 2 years and must be adopted after a public hearing. To have a public hearing, the hearing should be posted and the applicable information must be available for the public to review before the public hearing. Based on the original posting, I was concerned about the possible adoption of the 7th amended guideline of tax abatements without transparency and public input. So, on behalf of Hill County, I requested the proposed draft 7th amended guidelines so it can be available to Hill County taxpayers who care about these abatements and incentives that you as a board have been given. In response to my request, Judge Brassell emailed me and said, at this stage, no new draft has been adopted, finalized, or created, and the posted agenda item is for discussion and consideration of next steps. Having already reviewed the agenda information, I was pleased to see that the 6th amended guidelines actually have some beneficial and protective language for Hill County residents, because God only knows 4 and 5 certainly did not. And while there could be some clarity added to certain provisions, overall, the 6th amended guidelines were far superior to any prior guidelines that would have likely reduced many of the problems Hill County residents are currently experiencing with abatements granted under prior guidelines that had no real protection for us Hill County residents. I then followed up with Judge Brassell to confirm that the Commissioner's Court would not be acting on item 21, rescheduling the existing 6th amended guidelines until a proposed guideline could be publicly coordinated and reviewed. As the 6th amended guidelines published in this meeting's agenda packet, which I'm sure all of you have, actually have some positive language intended to, and I quote, protect public infrastructure, natural resources, emergency services, and the quality of life of Hill County residents. Specifically, these include items like minimum setbacks, more than 500 feet for a 599-foot wind turbine, light flickering protection, and other protective provisions. You all can read them for yourself later as I attach them to the document that I provided. Being very concerned that the Commissioner's Court was considering rescinding the 6th Amendment Guideline, the only version of the guidelines that provides some protection to citizens, I emailed Judge Brassell to confirm that the 6th Amendment Guidelines would not be rescinded until a new version was drafted and properly coordinated in a public hearing. Judge Brassell emailed me back and would not confirm that the 6th Amendment Guidelines containing the positive language would not be rescinded. However, he did state, it is my opinion that if the current abatement guidelines were rescinded before new guidelines were adopted, then Hill County should not consider or approve any tax abatement agreements until replacement guidelines are in place. So let me ask you this question. Why the rush to rescind guidelines that actually have some protective provisions at this point? And now comes the really frightening part for all of us citizens here at Hill County, which makes us ask, what is actually really going on? Because the version of the 6th Amendment Guidelines posted online by the county as a part of the agenda for the public to review, which became a part of that agenda for today, it wasn't signed or fully dated, and the pages were misnumbered. So I requested from Ms. Nicole Tanner here an official version of the document, because I wanted to understand exactly when the 6th Amendment Guideline came into effect and what abatements might be impacted by these guidelines. Now comes the really shocking and really disturbing part for us. So listen carefully. When I received a copy of the 6th Amendment Guidelines document from Nicole Tanner, the document was signed and it was dated. However, it is not the same document as what was posted in today's agenda's packet. And so everyone is going, what is happening here? And so the version supplied by Nicole Tanner appears to be the same document, but the last 5 pages of the document were omitted. And so, you know, the pages that contain the protected provisions for the citizens. Again, what's going on here? So I took it a step further. I went to the county clerk's office. Okay, on Wednesday. And so I got the official document here. And once again, it still doesn't have those 5 pages attached to it. So, put it. Someone else want?
Hi, John Lovelace.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to extend my time back to Linda.
So clearly the last 5 pages are posted on the agenda, are not a part of the official document that is on file here at Hill County. And so it has nothing about the public infrastructure or the emergency services or the quality of life of Hill County residents. So I think what we're wanting to know here is why were they published on the agenda, but it's not part of the official document. So this leads to some of us really asking some fundamental questions. How can we trust the county to protect citizens and taxpayers when the documents in the public record, today's agenda packet, on pages 18 through 32 do not match records provided by Nicole Tanner in response to my request on behalf of St. Hill County? Why was I provided a copy of the document different from that in today's agenda package, which did not include the protected pages? Where did the protective language go? And the document provided to me, the last 5 pages, are once again still missing. Why is the Commissioner's Court planning to rescind a document that has some protected provisions for citizens before drafting an alternative and making it publicly available? Clearly there are terms that were prepared to protect the quality of life of Hill County residents. Why is there a heated rush to rescind these terms and bury them before the public becomes aware? Why did the original agenda, before questions were asked, have an item posted to rescind the 6th Amendment and then an agenda item to discuss a 7th Amendment if there is no draft version in existence? What was the original plan here? Is the Commissioner's Court going to hold a public hearing and make an actual draft publicly available before the meeting for citizens and taxpayers to consider as the law requires? And as the item of significant interest here is, will the Commissioner's Court please consider holding their public hearings after 5 p.m. so that working citizens can attend and participate? And we're always continually told, the meetings are held when y'all can all get together. Well, I mean, I don't think any of us understand anymore why it's easier to get together at 8:30 in the morning as if it would be opposed to be at 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So folks, I don't know what is happening, but the issue is extremely concerning. We're just asking for answers. We just want to understand. And where are the 5 missing pages? Did y'all even know that those 5 pages weren't a part of the original document? We don't know. And what was the purpose of it? I mean, we're willing to listen to that. I mean, it's just concerning to us. And before the Commissioner's Court takes any further action on these tax abatement guidelines or grants any further tax abatements, I mean, we don't need to figure out why there are different versions of the existing guidelines for one thing. And by law has the legitimate guidelines for tax abatements in place, and has there been a public process with citizens' input before these guidelines are adopted? And then it comes to the fact that the concerning situation that each member of this court needs to consider answering the questions that we've raised today. And, you know, we presented a resolution to the court on March the 26th with some guidelines that we all felt protected us. We were told that it would be reviewed, and we even said, if you need to change the wording to make it fit better to the situation, great. But no one's put that on the agenda at this point. We don't even know at this point how many of you even actually read it, but we really wish you would consider it. And, you know, recently you gave tax abatements and incentives to wind and solar, but that is never pulled out. And so as a result of all of this, we're seeing major changes in this county, which are adversely affecting our quality of life and property values. And we all know, as y'all say, people have the right to do what they want to with their property. We all understand that. But the big issue here is this. If Van Zandt County can pass their abatement and actually have what they said were turbines already be in place, but because of their stringent guidelines they have pulled out, why can't we? And I want to ask another question. We don't even have a fire marshal. They have a fire marshal in Van Zandt County that he'll talk to any of y'all because he's talked to me. And he goes out every day and he looks at these situations. He chains them off, he blocks them out because he actually knows what type of laws they're breaking. Do we have anyone in this county that is protecting us to know? Does anyone know even what NextEra is doing?
My name's William Zimmerman, I'm gonna cede my time to them and follow.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
So, and just because all of these things are flooding in, and guys, we know it's a hard road. Because Governor Abbott, I mean, the requirements that he has sent down, there's no protection for y'all either. And, you know, we commend you for the resolution that you're willing to send to them. I mean, that's a great first step. But we also need a resolution to protect us. And we're all willing to talk to each one of you, or to all of you, at a hearing, to understand why it is you don't feel we need these protections for us at this time. And we don't want y'all to feel that we're not appreciative of y'all because it's a hard job. Any elected position is a hard job. You don't ever have enough money to decide. And and the roads are garbage, thanks to all our great solar and wind people that have no respect for any of us. Nor the fact that we've all lived here most of all of our life. And they're just here to make the fast buck. And unfortunately, we've got citizens here that all they see is money. And that's what's wrong with this country. All they see is money.
Amen.
And it's kind of like, when do we stop selling our soul to the devil? Because actually, when you listen to the Senate Commerce and hearing that was on April the 6th, they explicitly point out that this solar and data and wind, it's not contributing really anything to the energy grid. Those aren't my words, that's their words. And so then I'm going to take it a little bit farther here. Also in that particular meeting, the Seeley from ERUPT, he explicitly points out when he's asked, who is monitoring these components on the wind and data and solar? This is what he says. We're leaving it up to them to let us know that they're not using a part from China that could invade our infrastructure. Oh my God, really? And so then he admits there are no boots on the ground, guys, to validate any of this hardware. And I want to ask you something. Have any of you gone and looked at all the violations that NextEra has had? I mean, you can go, there's a website to go to. Guys, they have been fined over and over again for parts from the Chinese government, for not having their windmills on the map as to where they're supposed to be. And yet, we have no one here looking, is what I'm saying. And I spoke, and I'm going to be straight up with you. I spoke to this Dion, whatever his name is, with NextEra this week, and I asked him about these setbacks on these windmills. And he assures me, this is what he says, that he's been in contact with all of you. I reported it, and so somebody can listen to it. He claims to me that it is their guideline that there is not a wind turbine that's less than 1,500 feet from a property line. Guys, that's a lie.
Yeah.
Ask Adam Strong right over here. He's got one less than 800 something from his house. So what we're saying is here, how can we join forces with you guys to help protect us? That's all we're asking. And if that's going down to Austin to meet with Paxton and saying, hey, you created this guideline packet of all of this, then let's sit down and make this work. And so anyway, and once again, thank you. Thank you for listening to us. And and like I said, please don't think that we're just throwing rocks and shooting bullets at you, because that is not it at all. At this point, actually, we fear for our lives at this point.
Amen.
Yes, we do. And anyway, and the last thing I want to tell you is we want to talk about progress. Well, progress is only good when it's actually benefiting all of mankind. At this point, what we're seeing going on is nothing but, in our view, a lot of ours, and if y'all correct me if I'm wrong, it's the devil's work. So my question here is this: Are we actually seeing progression? Or are we seeing ourselves in a cage? And we all believe we're being put in a cage.
Amen.
And when these data centers come in, and every time, we all said a long time ago, iPhones came out to do nothing but track us. Well, those data centers are going to do nothing but track us. They're going to know everything you buy. They're going to know where you went. They're going to know what you did. And so basically, mark of the beast. We're seeing revelations right now.
Yes, we are.
And I mean, we have got to, as Texans, not just Texans, we have to, as citizens of the United States, to say no. Just like Maine has said no. Don't we tell Abatement, we're tired of this garbage. No. But Maine now has voted no data centers, people. And we all follow all this stuff. Y'all can too. And I know you got a lot of other things to do and pay attention to all this. So in regards to the resolution, we just want to read it so it gets on the record. It says that a resolution of the Hill County Commissioners Court regarding here we go. Do I need to hand it off to you?
Go ahead and read it and then you can hand it out.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so a resolution of the Hill County Commissioners Court regarding the preservation of agricultural land, environmental integrity, and property values, and prohibiting the use of county tax abatement incentives for industrial developments. Whereas Hill County, Texas is a predominantly rural and agricultural community whose economy, culture, and heritage are deeply rooted in farming, ranching, Court recognized the importance of preserving and protecting the agricultural and rural character of the county for current and future generations. And whereas the preservation of open space, productive farmland, and natural landscapes contribute to the environmental health, ecological balance, and overall quality of life within Hill County. And whereas the Commissioners Court finds that the protection of natural resources, including soil, water, air quality, and native habitats, is essentially to the long-term sustainability and resilience of the county. And whereas wildlife and native ecosystems within Hill County provide ecological, recreational, and economic value, and their protection is in the public interest. And whereas the Commissioners Court acknowledges growing concern that certain large-scale industrial developments, including but not limited to wind energy facilities, solar energy facilities, data centers, and crypto energy mining operations, may adversely impact the rural landscape, natural resources, and existing land uses. Whereas such developments may contribute to the industrialization of agricultural lands, resulting in the conversion of productive farmland into industrial uses that are incompatible with traditional rural land use patterns. And whereas the Commissioner Courts find that such industrial uses may create adverse environmental impacts, including but not limited to increased water usage, land disturbance, noise pollution, light pollution, waste generation, and impact to wildlife and habitats. And whereas there is concern that the proximity of such industrial developments to residential and agricultural properties may result in the mutation of property values and interfere with the use and enjoyment of private property. And whereas the Commissioners Court has a duty to promote and protect the public health, safety, and welfare of the residents of Hill County. And whereas the continued use of public funds, tax abatements, and or other economic incentives to encourage or subsidize such developments and contribute to the public interest or further development of wind energy facilities, solar energy facilities, data centers is inconsistent with the county's character, environmental priorities, and land use values. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Hill County Commissioners Court as follows. Section 1 Policy Statement. The Hill County Commissioners Court hereby affirms its commitment to preserving and protecting the agriculture and rural nature of the county, protecting environmental quality and avoiding adverse environmental impacts, conserving wildlife and natural habitats, reducing further industrialization of agricultural land, and safeguarding property values and the quiet enjoyment of land by county residents. Section 2. Provision for further incentives. The Hill County Commissioners Court hereby declares that Hill County shall not offer, approve, grant, or support the use of tax abatements, economic incentives, or other financial inducements for the purpose of encouraging facility and subsidizing the development or operation of wind energy facilities, solar energy facilities, and data centers, cryptocurrency or digital asset mining facilities, including Bitcoin mining operations within the jurisdiction of Hill County, Texas. Number 3, public interest determination. The Commissioners Court finds that further incentivizing development of the above referenced facilities in Hill County is inconsistent with the public interest due potential degradation of public health and quality of life, adverse impacts on property values, detrimental effects on natural resources, including land, water, and wildlife, and incompatibility with the county's agriculture, heritage, and rural land use pattern. And Section 4 is, if any provision of this resolution is held to be invalid or enforceable, such determination shall not affect the remaining provisions which shall remain in force and in effect. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you listening.
So let's recap what we just watched. Hill County citizens showed up, spoke up, and made it crystal clear. They do not want shady data center deals, backdoor negotiations, water grabs, power grid strain, destroyed farmland, wrecked county roads, or corporate shell games being pushed through while the public is treated like an inconvenience. And what happened? The same government system that loves to tell everybody nothing to see here suddenly had to sit there and listen while the people laid it out in plain English. Citizens warned them about water. Citizens warned them about electricity. Citizens warned them about farmland. Citizens warned them about rural fire protection. Citizens warn them about outside corporations coming in, draining resources, and leaving Hill County families holding the bag. And then, surprise, surprise, the Commissioner's Court reads a resolution basically admitting that data centers can create major problems with water demand, electric demand, roads, infrastructure, land use, agriculture, and quality of life. Well, isn't that amazing? Because when citizens say it, they're overreacting. When watchdogs say it, we're just stirring the pot. But when the county puts in a resolution, suddenly it is official government concern. That is exactly why people have to keep showing up. Because these deals do not belong behind closed doors. They do not belong buried in vague agenda language. They do not belong whispered through EDC meetings, side conversations, special meetings, or carefully polished economic development fairy tales. This is our water. This is our land. This is our electricity. This is our county. And these officials work for the people, not developers, not consultants, not EDC insiders, and not some corporate shell company with a shiny PowerPoint and a tax abatement wish list. So to every citizen who showed up, spoke up, asked questions, and refused to be quiet, great job. That is how this is supposed to work. And to the officials watching this who think the public is just going to get tired and go away, you're wrong. We are not going away. We're going to keep reading the agendas. We are going to keep filing records requests. We are going to keep showing up to meetings. We are going to keep exposing the connections. And we are going to keep dragging these backdoor deals into the sunlight. Because, as I always say, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Before you go, smash that like button, drop a comment, share this everywhere, and subscribe to the channel so more people in Hill County, Hillsboro, Hubbard, and every rural Texas community can see what is really going on. I'm your boy BZ with BZ Watchdog News Network, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Tyranny, corruption, extortion.
Sunlight is the best disinfectant. BZWATCHDOG News Network. BZWATCHDOG.